Hello and welcome to another episode of Northside Now. This is the podcast where we take you on a tour through all of the ministries and the latest happenings around Northside Church to keep you better connected with your church family. My name is Patrick, and with me as always are my co-hosts, Glenn Miller and Kevin Bryant.
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
What's up?
I thought you would say your name is Daddy.
I don't want to say that. I changed my mind.
Daddy.
Yeah.
He's back, everybody.
You know, there's Big Poppy and baseball.
Big Poppy.
Could be called.
Right now, she's not saying much of anything as far as like actual words. So
She says hee haw.
she does. She sounds like Donkey when she cries, and it's really hard not to just laugh whenever she cries because hee-haw, hee-haw.
Cute. I love it.
I have not heard that yet. I haven't been privileged to do that.
I heard it. It's pretty cool.
I'll have to see if I can get a recording of it and send it to you.
Yeah.
Well, she's
put it in.
cute, Patrick.
I think so.
You better start going to the range and shooting every day just to get ready.
I may be
right.
a little biased, but I'm fond of her. So
Well, good. And you recently just had like that checkup with the doctor, and she's already grown some and everything.
she's growing about an inch a week, so
That's good.
going by
Wow.
fast.
That-
I hope at some point that slows down.
well, it does.
I would think, yeah.
And then it picks back up.
Yeah.
Or you can end up with like Kevin with, she could be as tall as Micah.
I know. Now, if she does, I'm going to push her into a career in basketball. So.
Why not? Why not?
And if Micah does what I did, I grew 3 inches my freshman year in college.
I grew in
Oh, wow.
college, too.
If he
so I
does that,
expect he does.
he's gonna have a hard time getting through doors.
I think I grew 3 inches out in college.
They said he would be taller than me, so.
Is he now, or is he?
I think just barely.
right
Yeah.
at it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really tall. Well, good. Yeah, Patrick's back with.
I am.
So how is the daddy life?
I mean, it's all right. I'm not getting as much sleep as I'd like, but
Is it
you know.
anything that you had envisioned?
I mean, pretty much, yeah.
Okay. All right. That's good. No, that's good.
Well,
Yeah.
I will say, Elizabeth and I, we both have enough anxiety that we did as much reading and research and trying to by this point, a lot of our friends, my brother, we see other families with kids and we would say, okay, we want to do this. We don't want to do this. We want to do this. We don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And we kind of already had our game plan. So when it actually happened, it was just a matter of executing the plan rather than fumbling around figuring it out. So,
our parenting plan from day one was exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
We don't want to do this. We want to do this. We don't want, learning from people's things that, just didn't jive for us and not just all the good stuff, but even some of the stuff that were like, it's not something I want to do in my house.
Well, we've seen some families that had every little thing planned out, and then, of course, that doesn't always fit that. And then we've had other families that we've noticed, they probably never talked about having a kid before they actually had one. And so we wanted to be somewhere in the middle on that.
Yeah, no, that's good.
The thing we've learned is that you need to, whatever your plans are, be flexible.
Yeah, totally.
Just be ready to change it at a moment's notice. And that's hard to do. That's hard, especially if, like me, you want to control everything. Yeah. Control the environment, control the plans, control everything else. I had to learn really early on that sometimes you're not in control, and it's okay just to adjust to it.
I think I've set my bar too low. My goal is just keep her alive.
Yeah,
as long as she's still breathing, then it's an accomplishment.
That's a good goal.
That is a good goal.
Definitely a good goal.
So you're back to work now. So
I am, yes.
Patrick's back in the office, and if you need to get in touch with him for any creative arts, worshipy stuff, he'll be there.
Just hit me up.
Well, good. Anything else going on, guys? Anything cool and exciting going on? Oh, I want to do a follow up with Dr. Lee.
Yes.
Miss Lee that we had. I don't ever call her
Dr. Nichols now.
Dr. Nichols. Yeah, Miss Lee. We were talking about in there if she had ever had anyone come in that had a pet that was like a coyote or something. They found this coyote. I saw this thing on TikTok where this guy actually did the very thing. This coyote wandered up in his yard and he started like feeding it,
Really?
with it. So now he has like a pet coyote.
And he thinks it's a dog?
Yeah, and it like does the whole hiss and opens his mouth like coyotes do when they're.
No thanks.
So it's real. It's a real thing out there. So beware. That was a great episode, though. I learned so much from her about the stuff, and then getting to talk with Judy about back to school. And can we believe that kids go back to school this week?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
I'm already.
Ah, goodness gracious!
Change is all around, Glenn.
It is. It is just everywhere.
I'm putting both of those episodes into practice because we had to get Trit used to the baby when we brought. So that was I talked to Lee about, okay, what do we do? What do we expect there? And so we had to go through that, which he's still figuring the baby out. He's not sure if he needs to be jealous or very protective. So he's kind of back and forth. And then we're putting Autumn in school starting in September. So
wow.
That'll be a big adjustment too.
Yeah.
Now, where will she go to school?
Well, I don't know if I want to say that on the podcast, just in case there's some weirdos listening. But
well, that's fair. Actually, that's good.
But we've got her in a daycare program. So,
nice.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that's trending on TikTok right now is if you're a professional, you're saying the top 5 things that you wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And one of them is a lawyer, and she's a criminal defense lawyer, and her number one thing that she's mentioned in all of her things is self-checkout.
Really?
So because in the big box stores, they're moving quickly to all self-checkout, but they are not, like, if you forget to scan something, they're not just going, oh, come over here and pay for it again. They're like, nope, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
And they're not there are no questions. There's no, you can't go like, I've got a $10 bill for this 99-cent whatever.
Yeah.
Here. And there's none of that. You're going to jail. And so her number one thing was, nope, not going to do it. So
wow.
Well, I may be old fashioned, but I prefer the regular checkout anyways.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just lazy, but
I do self-checkout a lot. I'm usually in a hurry, so
if I'm just picking up a couple of things, it's good. But I hate getting to the self-checkout line and someone's doing like a whole buggy of groceries.
Yeah.
I try to avoid that, except for at Sam's. I'll do that.
Yeah.
But they've got the gun. Deet, deet, deet. That makes a big difference.
Yeah, no, I do like the gun at Sam's. I take that back. Yeah. That's that's real
scanner gun is cool. Well, good. Well, we're glad you're back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Good to be back.
The podcast room was lonely without you.
Yeah, we missed you. You do the board better than I do, guaranteed.
I know Kevin did use more buttons than you did.
I just used one.
That's more than he does. Well, Kevin did mention that there's change all around, and I guess I'm guilty of some of that here lately since we announced recently that I will be switching positions here at Northside.
Yeah.
Moving and creating a new position. Well, partly new. We're already doing some recreation, but we're really going to amp that up to a whole nother level that we've never had here at Northside. And
well, tell everybody a little bit about what the new position is. And
it'll be the Director of Recreation and Community Outreach. So number one with recreation, we are going to reach inside of our church body.
Okay.
And at least initially. And so we're going to be doing things like pickleball's coming up soon, and just getting things where people are gathering here at the church for fellowship, and not just fellowship, but just, growing opportunities, things like that. One of the first things I want to do is like a co-ed in-house volleyball league. It won't last long, but just something to get people kind of gathered and, doing things like that, doing things like the workout groups. I will be around a little bit more to help people work out and stuff. That will be part of it. We have a group of people who get together and smoke and barbecue and stuff like that together. And so bringing those kinds of ministries to the forefront. We haven't done a golf tournament in a long time, so doing something like that to get people together. Just those kinds of things that we can do to bring people together. A lot of things with the Joy Group. We want to spend some time with them, doing things like, ping pong and stuff like that. Just different things. Somebody wants to do like a big cornhole tournament and things that are like interest group related.
That'd be fun.
So some of the stuff we're going to look at too that are recreation on the interest group side and community outreach then is like we want to build a garden here, a vegetable garden. And that can be used for community outreach. Miss Nancy could use the stuff for the Wednesday night meals.
Sure.
And stuff like that. And then people who are really interested in gardening and stuff but don't have the space at their homes can come and get their gardening fix here.
Sure.
And that kind of thing. So it's just going to be things like that. And then putting together some things for, people to do as families and, things like that in the future.
Yeah.
I put together this huge exhaustive list. And since doing that, I really thought we could roll most of that out in a year. And they were like, no, that's like a 5-year plan there.
Right.
But simple things too, like, blood pressure checks.
Just
supplying someone to do blood pressures on Sunday mornings, and maybe a health fair or some stuff like that. So
a couple questions came to my mind when you first announced this. First, I'd like to hear more about how this kind of came to be within you and your spirit, but also the why. Why recreation? Why focus internally? What are the things driving that, particularly in your spirit? So those are the two questions that I've been wanting to ask you.
One of my big things is I've always used more of the recreational types of things, getting outdoors, hiking, fishing, hunting, those kinds of things to get people together. And when you get people together, then you use that time to visit and talk and to, use it really as evangelism, discipleship, whatever they are in their particular deal. And I'm going to be able to do a lot of that.
And I know you were already doing a lot of like FCA and things like that. So
yeah, it's actually in my, it's in that job description to work with FCA.
Okay.
And so, and that'll be some of the reaching out stuff that we do as well. But it just over time, and I think COVID had a lot to do with this. Just as we separated more and more, and as we found ourselves online more and more, and there's going to be some gaming and some stuff like that we're going to try to venture into almost every aspect of things that gather people. And we won't be able to do it all. We won't be able to do it all perfectly, but if we get people that have a real true interest, then we want to do that. But
we're going to create a Fortnite squad.
Yeah. I think I did talk to somebody. Was it you?
Yeah, you talked
about a D&D group.
Yeah, which I'm totally
being
down.
able to use that as, why can't something like that truly be a small group? Why can't that be a connect group or something like that? But as we're getting back together, it's been kind of wonky, kind of hard for some people to reconnect, and it's been kind of hard to really kind of know, well, where do we fit now after a couple of years and things like that. And as people change and as we grow as a church, and there's people that they never see the people from the other two services, and so it's like we have three churches in a lot of ways, clumped together. And if you're not getting in choir or something like that, these are going to be inroad places that you can jump on board and meet folks and build relationships and be able to work on your discipleship or that kind of stuff as well. Plus the outreach side of it, with the community outreach things, is just reaching out into our community. I've always had a spirit of missions, and kind of once we decided foreign missions or going away for Barbie and I was really just kind of out of the cards. We're just kind of moved beyond that we want to stay in the area. So, and the people I looked up to, anytime we went on a mission trip, was those pastors who were every day working in that community, every day doing that. So we can do some of that kind of stuff here, and we do some of that, but we want to just be a lot more intentional about that. And that's where a lot of people will find themselves plugging in to things like that. Well,
to me, that's what church is all about. It's the relational side of things, whether it's, us coming together, we're not supposed to, neglect the fellowship with other Christians, but then also the giving back and reaching, starting with the community around us. Coming to a church service is great, but if you just come, you sing, you listen to the sermon, and then you go home and you never talk to anybody else, you're missing a main ingredient in what it means to be a Christian.
Yeah. This year's softball team, we just finished the season, is a really prime example of that. We ended up having probably 35 players on the team, but we could, we struggled every week to get 10 there. It's one of those deals, but it was lots of different people from lots of different places, and we haven't been able to play in a couple, 3 years. And so, but just to watch them kind of grow together, they really did turn into somewhat of a team, even though they weren't ready to take on any league championships or anything. But it's one of those things you hear coaches or people say, I'd go to battle with that group of people any day, especially when it comes to working for the Lord.
Did they all have matching pineapple hats by the end of the
No, but that will be for next year, I promise you.
That surprised me for sure.
The Northside pineapples, is that
we had to change, with the Purple Penguins may have to disappear to the pineapples.
Purple Penguins, they can keep the basketball. When it comes to softball, it's all about those Northside pineapples.
It's really funny though. So I think that's the thing, is it just kind of came in that way. And then whenever Daphne dropped the challenge to, where do you see yourself in the future, and how do you see yourself, in ministry? And one of the things I really wanted the kids to hear me say, and it's so true. And no one ever heard me say I'm leaving youth ministry, I'm quitting youth ministry, or anything like that. That's just not going to be my main focus. But I will be focused on youth, children, adults, older adults, people inside the church family, people outside the church family, our neighbors, whether they're in-house or out of house. That's going to be kind of our focus. So, and quite honestly, people ask you those questions, and I wasn't joking. Most of the time church leaders are like, see you. Thanks for doing this. Now get back to doing what you do.
Right.
And no one ever was like, okay, that sounds good. 'Cause that's exactly what we're we've had a group of people praying. The leadership's been saying that. It's like,
they called your bluff.
yeah, and you're kind of like, doggone it.
Yeah, now I have to follow through.
Yeah, now what am I going to do? But it's really going to be fun because there's going to be a lot of things I'll be able to do to that when you're just focused on the kids and their families and you don't have the time to reach out and hit a few other pockets. Mm-hmm. But in order for the church to be healthy, those other pockets have got to be dealt with too. And so you take the stuff we use in youth ministry and other things that we've gleaned over the years and throw it all together and see what happens.
I think it's really good because you're focusing not only on one age group. You've talked about things for older adults too, as health concerns or health focused changes, different needs, right?
Yeah.
And you, I think, are really well suited for this because you're an avid sports person, but you're an outdoorsman. You've been a certified trainer, right? And so you have that expertise, and I think it's really cool the way God's using you to build that here. I couldn't agree more that we need things that connect us. There's so many, a lot of times I think we fall into this, it's an easy trap maybe.
Yeah.
Fall into this, well, I'm the more traditional service, or I only like the modern service, or, I know people that didn't really know there was any kind of set design, for example, in Hope Hall.
Yeah.
Because they just never had a reason to go down there.
Yeah.
Or people that just go to Hope Hall and that's pretty much all they do and haven't experienced the sanctuary service. And so
I heard somebody the other couple of weeks ago went into the sanctuary and they're like, oh, I forgot how pretty our sanctuary was. And they were like, when was the last time you were here? And they're like, well, I'm here every week. I haven't been in the sanctuary since last Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's like, even people that are here every week, it could be a year before they walk down the hallway.
Yeah. I mean, why would you go to that part of the building if you don't ever need to? Because a lot of times meetings are down this way and stuff like that. There's still people who have been members of this church for 20 years and didn't know that there's an upstairs to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, I think one of the things, it's a little bit of an offshoot of COVID, oddly enough. I mean, we've talked about how COVID has led to more isolation, and in some cases, big conversation in churches right now is where technology fits. Obviously, during COVID, you had technology as sort of the saving grace because then you could actually still communicate with your people even though you couldn't meet.
Yeah.
That was really important. And I'm not saying that it's not important going forward, but it led to us sort of isolated, not just physically, but sort of emotionally and mentally. We kind of do things in our own lane. We may say, and some of us really do feel we have to connect with people, but not everybody does. And I think it's sort of lulled us into this sense of, well, I'm just going to do my thing, stay in my lane. We go to church, we come home. It's just what it is. We, I think, need to, in some cases for me, and just speaking for me, need to be forced to let's connect. Let's get together as a group. Let's remember what it means to be with other Christians and learn from them and share our own experiences. That connection is critical. Yeah. I mean, we were hardwired to be social people.
Yeah. Yeah. Whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, that was just part of your life. And then, because I know COVID, especially towards the kind of the last half of the actual lockdown part, was getting tough for me, because people feed me a little bit, you know, and but then I also know that once we got up and going again, I was making jokes like, I think I need to catch COVID so I can have like 2 weeks off,
Exactly.
And I'm reading a book right now by John Eldredge called Resilient. It's his newest book, and it's really addressing these things.
Yeah.
And he's bringing out some really good points that it might have affected us way more than we thought it did, whether you caught it or not, just the way it changed our social and culture structure for a while. And we're still not out of it. I mean, we still hear about numbers, and there's just so much going on in our lives. And not that this time is any more bizarre or greater than another time, but it would be good for us to be really intentional about how we reach out with one another and to one another. So we're excited.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah. There's going to be some stuff I don't really want to release yet, but I'm going to get to do some pretty neat stuff and working with the community, people that might be coming into the community, and around this area of stuff. So, because I don't want to release them because just in case they don't come to fruition.
Right.
Yeah.
We're having lots of meetings and talks with people to try to make some really cool stuff happen with like travel ball teams and stuff like that.
Sure.
So going to be some neat things that we potentially can do.
Awesome.
And I'm going to be writing so used to writing curriculum for the youth and stuff, but just like pamphlets and stuff are like, oh, so you're a big hiker. And, what about like a little devotion for hikers, or, you can buy those things and find them online, but what if it was from within your own church and stuff like that? So
I think that's cool.
Things like that kind of not hit all sports or whatever, but just might hit like-minded people.
You really are going to write a book.
Yeah. Or at least
once you put
small pieces of them.
Well, now eventually once you get enough, you just put them into and it's like all of them.
Yeah. So we are going to be doing some stuff like that.
I do have one question. Now that you're transitioning to this new position, what will happen with the youth group?
All right. I am still 100% the youth guy until we find someone new. Okay. And they are beginning the process, and that will go a lot like the other processes have. And who knows how long that will take. I do know that it's hard to find youth ministers right now. They're kind of like used cars or new cars. Trying to find what you want is a little more difficult. So we're totally great with running as long as we need to. That's no problem at all. But hopefully we'll get someone in soon. And, we're still going to kick off confirmation right on time on the 10th. All these things are going to happen. In fact, we've kind of planned our fall schedule, kind of have the bones to a spring schedule just in case, we get somebody by then, they can flesh it out or change it. So it's not going to be set in stone. But, and I'm looking forward to having someone in and watching them get to experience some things, and excited about that. Excited to see who's
ready to get some fresh blood in here.
Yeah, get some fresh blood and see.
No, that's exciting.
It is exciting. It's going to be good for the group. You like to think that you can keep going and doing forever, but I told Barbie it's one of the most corny things I've ever thought of. But after I was watching Top Gun Maverick, I was like, this oddly mirrors my life right now. Because I knew this was happening, Yeah. And I was like, this oddly mirrors me where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And it's time to move on to do something different. Even though I could still do that, it's not the best use of me.
Yeah.
And it's not really necessarily the best thing for Maverick. It was the Navy, but it's really not the best thing for Northside or the youth group. It is time for some change there.
That's true for a lot of people. I know that mentality of switching from doer to more of a mentor teacher role is tough for a lot of people. So
yeah, I'm actually kind of looking forward to that. I probably should have been that person like when I was 14. I probably was ready to be the old crinkly guy at the top that everybody climbed up to and said, "Master," And for some reason, I was like, I always thought that was the cool spot to get to in life. And and then when you're here, you're like, because it hurts.
Yeah. Well, I've challenged my kids recently to find a way to serve someone else every day, whether it's one of their siblings or do something for us as parents. But I think so often we have busy schedules. We have lots of things that we're doing that we have to do, sort of our obligations as adults. Even as kids, we were responsible for school, or we have sport teams or whatever else. And we get so laser focused on me, that we don't think about the people around us, and we don't, much less think about them. We don't do anything for them.
Yeah.
Yes, you can still open doors for people and those kinds of things. Those are very small, simple things you can do. But if you can, I believe this really strongly, if you can get yourself out of your own head and think of someone else, not only does it seem to minimize the bigness of your own problems, but it does exactly what Jesus commanded us to do and love your neighbor.
Yeah.
And so that's my challenge to them. And I think this is a challenge for all of us. How many things are we doing that we've done for 20 years that maybe it's time for someone else to do? That by us staying in that role, we have not allowed someone else to experience growth. I've come to that sort of realization in the last kind of decade of my life that it is something that I feel like I'm called to do potentially. I enjoy doing it, but maybe it's time to step aside to let someone else do that. And I'm challenged to do that more often than I used to when I was younger.
Yeah. I think part of what we're called to do, is equip. And we're supposed to help equip the people around us, for ministry. So I think that's a very valid point.
Yeah, training the people that you work with to do the thing you do may seem like an odd thing to do because you're putting yourself out of a job.
You're working yourself out. Yeah.
But I feel like it's a little bit of our responsibility to do that.
Well, it is. And, that's what they used to say in youth ministry was one of your big things is to work yourself out of a job, use your volunteers, use your parents, use your kids, all that to do the ministry. And, some youth ministers are good at that and some aren't. And that just is the same for no matter what you do.
Right.
That's exactly right.
Right.
But someone once told me that if you're holding that position all the time, you're cheating someone else of the opportunity to be in ministry. Mm-hmm. And you need to be right where God's calling you for your season. And I mean, when Pastor Kevin got up and after I spoke on that Sunday morning to kind of tell the church and just say, when he got out of youth ministry, he felt like he was, leaving the most important thing in ministry.
Yeah.
And I've struggled with that a little bit because I'm like, what am I doing? Oh, what? Have I lost my mind? There have been days when I've kind of woke up in the middle of the night and gone, oh, what am I doing? Because it feels almost like you're stepping down in some ways. And you're really not, but it does feel that way occasionally because after all these years of youth ministry, I mean, and I fought for a lot of that because I can't tell you how many times I go, when are you going to be a senior pastor? When are you going to be a real preacher? When are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? It's everything that was talking about when you're going to do something different.
Right. And
you were fighting just to stay right where you are doing what you do because you knew the importance of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so moving on to something it's going to be different. And that's the other thing is, I'm not going that far.
Right. I'm glad about that.
We're going to be right here. And there's going to be some fun changes. I might actually move full time into the podcast room. Who knows? I might be down here. I'm not leaving this spot.
We have to de-decorate. So. There's not enough room for you.
I know. I'm going to have to figure out a way to do this, but I love the podcast room so much. I just don't want to leave it. I want to stay in it all the time. So there's some new changes there. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time, and looking forward to getting the new person in. So be praying for them now,
for sure,
because they're about to learn what it's like to be in ministry here at Northside and in Jackson. Jackson's a unique place, and that was a blessing for me to have been other places in my life, and so looking forward to that. And I'll still be helping do some with youth stuff because we will be reaching out to some of our neighborhood kids. That will be a big piece of what I do with some of our local high schools and middle schools, with especially like Northside. We have some partnerships there, so I'll be helping to oversee some of that with our youth person to have them help. And like I said, with FCA, with the teams that we work with, and not just the youth or kids of our neighborhoods, but also the adults. So we'll see as it all unfolds, we'll find out.
Awesome.
So one thing I can promise you, we'll look back in 20 years and go, that's what happened. And we'll know one way or the other then. But until then, it's just, we'll cross each bridge as we get to it.
That's the way you got to do it.
But yeah, thanks guys. We're excited about it. So pretty cool stuff. Patrick, we got some other fun events and things that are about to whack us in the face because school's here, man.
Yep.
It's time to get in the fall groove. I mean, if we're not all melted to the pavement by the time it's supposed to start.
So as we get into the new school year, make sure you remember, starting tomorrow, as you listen to this podcast, August 10th, our Wednesday night schedule is a little bit different. So thanks to a lot of feedback that we've gotten, we came up with a new streamlined schedule for Wednesday nights. And so here it is. You ready? 5 o'clock, dinner and open gym. 5:45 to 6:05, worship/prayer time and children's choir. And then 6:15 to 7:15, all of our activities, connect groups, FAQs, children, youth, choir rehearsal, all that fun stuff. 6:15 to 7:15.
And that open gym we've been doing that for the last couple of semesters anyways with kids coming in early. So it's more of a youth thing, but
I don't know how many people have been aware that that's been a thing, but I think it's a cool thing. So I'm making sure we say that. So, if you finish dinner early and you got some time before the service and you want to go shoot, some basketball in the gym, go for it. So
yeah, come on in.
Exciting. I'm excited about the new schedule. I'm excited about getting out of here, at least 30 minutes earlier.
Well, having open gym at 5, a lot of people, really only the youth staff knows what happens after youth and all that stuff. And we're here a lot till like 8:30 and 9. So believe me, the youth staff's like, woohoo. So yeah,
But that schedule starts tomorrow. We're back to Wednesday nights.
Yay.
Good to get back in the swing of things. Well, guys, thanks for podcasting with me. And thanks to all of you out there in the world for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from us, you can follow us on Instagram at Northside Now Podcast. Go to our website, northsidejackson.com, or email us at podcast@northsidejackson.com. We hope to hear from you soon. Once again, this is Patrick.
There's Glenn.
I'm Kevin.
And that's what's happening at Northside Now. Bye-bye.